Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we're talking about the post office problem, right? So the question is that total amount, okay, total amount. Oops, my phone started typing. Okay, the total amount, okay, that guy had was 20, right? And total change he got, right, was 3, correct? So that means he bought stamps for total minus change. Okay, the reason I'm doing all these things using variable is that you know you you can replace these values later anytime and still our program will work, right? So when you're designing a program, okay, when you are designing or developing a program, our aim has to be to make it as generic as possible, right? Our aim is here to make things as generic as possible so that we can use it for any values, right? So I'm saying total 20, change equal to 3, bought equal to total minus change. We need to kind of solve this the bought value, right? Okay, so now what are other values that we have? We have n5, okay, number of 5 rupees stamp. Okay, so I'm going to say n5, which is number of 5 rupees stamp, which was 2, right? Minimum, it says more than 1, right? So it is 2. Then n2 is 2 and n1 is also 2, right? So this is what we have, as per the statement, minimum, right? It could be more than 2, okay? But definitely 2 is there. So when you take 2, right, each of these denomination or each of these stamps as 2 each, then total, okay, or accounted, something like that, I'm going to use it. So now you have accounted for how many or how much of the value you have accounted for 5 into n5, right, plus 2 into n2 plus 1 into n1. We have accounted for 5 into 2, 10 rupees plus 4 plus um, uh, you know, uh, 4 plus 2, 16. So we have accounted for 16. What we have to account for, okay, have to account for is this bought minus accounted. Any questions so far here, guys?
No.
Everybody understands what we did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we started 20 rupees change, we got 3 rupees. Total bought is total minus change. So that's the amount of amount that was spent on buying stamps. Then we are saying that we have 2 stamps of 5 rupees, 2 stamps for 2 rupees, and 2 stamps for 1 rupee. That totals accounted. Accounted is what we have based on the initial values we have accounted for. Now, okay, we have to account for have to, right? This is what we need to figure out. Apart from 2 each, how many each of the other stamp we need to check. Okay, so see, in this case, it is you have bought is 17 and accounted is 16. You have 1, so it's easy to solve. Okay, but as I said, right, we have to make our program very generic so that we can use it for any values. So what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to think as if have to is 23, not 1, right? We'll take a bigger number so that we can handle 5 rupees, 2 rupees, and 1 rupee as well. So see the logic. If we have 23 rupees to be accounted for, okay, if you divide this by 5, how many 5 rupees stamp can you have? Maximum 4, isn't it? You can't have 5 because for that it has to be 25, isn't it? So you need to have 4 into 5 rupees stamp. That's what we should get. Then the rest is, so 5 into 4, 20 is gone. Rest we have is 3. So for 3, we can get 1 2 rupees stamp, isn't it? So now you have 22 gone. 1 is left, so 1 rupee stamp. So here we should get 5 plus 2, 7, 2, 1, right? 4, sorry, 4 plus 2, 6. So you'll get 6 5 rupees stamp, and 1 plus 2, 3 2 rupees stamp, and 1 3 rupees stamp. Now, did you get this part? Naushad, Keshav,
Yeah.
Gauri, did you get this part?
Yeah, I got that part.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So assuming that we have 23 rupees left, so how do we distribute this 23 in 5s, 2s, and 1? Okay. Now, if if it is for 23, if you can get this logic and get the logic for 1 or 100 or doesn't matter what value it is. Okay. So have to, let's assume if have to is 23, this is how we would break it down. Okay. So how do I get 4 here? 23, if you input is 23 and then that shows that we need to have 4 5 rupees stamp. How do we get 4? 4 is the quotient. If you divide 23 by 5, how many times, right? So 4 times, correct? So it would be have to, okay, percentage by percentage, modulo, okay, percentage also called as modulo. So modulo slash modulo or percentage slash percentage. And if I divide this by 5, this will give me 4 if it is 23. If it is 29, it will give me 5. If it is 49, it will give me what? If have to is 49, what will I get here?
9.
9. Exactly. So 49 by 5 is 9, 5 9s are 45, and you have remainder 4, right? So have to, okay, divided by 5 will tell us how many additional 5 we need to keep. Okay, so that will be your N5 equal to N5 plus. So this is the total N5 that you will end up getting. Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naushad,
Yes.
sure,
Yes, sir.
guys? Okay. So this tells us how many 5 rupees stamp we need to have. Okay, great. Now, what is left? What is have to now? How do I get have to now? Have to was 43 or what was 23? So we said 4 into 5, 20 gone. Have to has to be now 3. How do I get have to as 3? Right? So if you have value as 23, and if you if you multiply 4 and 5, that means you are saying that okay, 5 rupees stamp is 4 more. Okay, so 20 rupees is accounted for. We have to account for another 3 rupees. So what is this 3? How do I get this 3? Tell me. If we divide by 5, okay, and you take modulo, okay, or the remainder is what we need. Remainder is left over. Leftover is remainder, isn't it? So the have to, new have to is have to percentage 5, right?
Yeah.
And same thing I'll do. So now for have to, I'll need to find for n2, I mean rupees 2 denomination of stamp. So your n2 plus divided by 2, 2, okay. The new have to is when you divide by 2, whatever is remainder. So remainder will be either 1 or 0, isn't it? Nothing else. So when you divide by 2, you get either 1 or 0. So have to will be either 1 or 0. So in this case, I don't have to divide because anything you divide by 1, it is divisible over 1, right? So I can just simply say n1 equal to n1 plus have to, right? So this is the solution. Now, if you want to print it, you can say print rupee 5 stamp, okay, and count and 5, right? And 1 and 2 slash n to print it in the next line. I want it to be in the next line, okay. Rupee 1, rupee 2, rupee 1, and this would be your answer here, right? So if you have the current problem, the solution is you will have 2 5 rupees stamp, 2 2 rupees stamp, and 3 1 rupees stamp. Okay. Now let's say if the guy gave 50 rupees, let's assume the guy gave 50 rupees, he got a change of 7 rupees. Okay. And we are saying that minimum he bought 4 of each. Then minimum 4 of each. Then what is how many 5 rupees, 2 rupees, 1 rupee stamps did you get finally? Okay. So you get 2, 2, and no, what did I click on? So you get 6, 4, and 5, right? So you get, okay, 6 5 rupees stamp, which is 30 plus 8, 38 plus 5, 40, 38 plus 5, 43. Okay, now one thing we are missing here. The change that he got was all 1 rupee, isn't it? Right? So at the
Yeah.
end, you will add the change here because the change was not given in cash. Change was given as rupee, 1 rupee stamp. So we have to add this one as well here. Okay. So this problem is generic problem or generic logic or algorithm to solve the problem, given problem. These are original values, right? And when you run it, you get the original answer, which is 2, 2, and 6. But you can change the values and still our program will work fine. Any questions so far?
No.
No.
Okay. Now what we'll do is we will let's play a game. Okay. We'll play a game of guessing a number. Okay. So we'll use we can do repeat or while. Okay. Okay. So think. Okay. I'll tell you. So This is called guessing a game. Okay, I will think of a number, and you have to guess. Okay, and if you guess correctly, you win. If you don't guess it correctly, then I'll give you a hint. Okay, that your number is higher than my number or lower than my number. Okay, and we'll see how many steps you take to guess the number. Did you understand the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'll do
Okay,
is
guys.
I'll give you 5 minutes to all of you. Try to develop on your own. Okay. And then after 5 minutes, I will do it and I'll show you. I want you to think first. Okay. Even if you don't get it, that's fine. But just think. So you will start with a number. Okay. You'll start with a number. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to tell you, right? Okay. So yes, I think. Okay. So okay. So before before we talk about the how to generate a random numbers. Okay, I have not told you. So for a moment, you forget about random values. Okay, I will tell you how to get the random values. What you need to do is you need to set a number equal to n equal to say 50. Okay, so this is the number which computer has already thought of. Okay, computer has thought, or let's say we have thought. Okay, so I shouldn't say computer. Let's say this is the fixed value or number to guess. So this is what we need to guess. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll ask the user, guess. How do I get this user input? We discussed, I think yesterday we met, right? So how do we guess? How not guess? How do we get the input from the user?
Like scan or read line.
Read line.
So
Yeah, we have
can
done
use-
read line,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So we have done read line. So how do you read? So you will say, okay, guess equal to read line, right? And you can give a prompt here saying guess the number, right? And then you have to convert this into as dot integer, isn't it? As dot okay, as dot integer, right? Now then what will do, you will compare. If guess equal to n, you win, right? And if guess is less than n, you say that number that you have guessed is lower. If guess is more than 50, you will say, you have guessed a higher value. Did you understand the problem? Can you do that? And this is not one time, right? You have to put that in a loop.
Me and Gar didn't do class yesterday, so we didn't learn user input yet.
No, yesterday we didn't have class, did we?
But we still haven't done user input.
Really?
Yeah.
The read line we haven't done.
At least that's what I think. You could ask Gar.
It's a day before yesterday class. So
Yes,
last
day for
topic.
yesterday class we did it, read line. Okay, you check your WhatsApp. I must have sent you the notes on WhatsApp. Just this thing,
Okay,
these two things.
Okay.
Okay, read line is to read the user input. Okay, so when you run it, it'll wait for you to enter a value. Okay, instead of giving n equal to 50, okay, instead of saying n equal to 50, okay, you are reading the value from the user. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, even if you have not done it, I have already done this part for you. Right? So this is how you will read the input from the user. You have to check, okay, if it is less or more or equal to, and print the respective message and put that in a loop till you get it. Okay, and we discussed about break also, didn't we? What does break do? When we did repeat, we discussed about break. Break will throw you out of the loop. That means you put it in an infinite loop, you put it in a repeat loop, and the moment you say guess equal to n, that's when you print the message you win, and you should end that loop there. So break should be there in that particular if. Guess equal to n should have break. Okay, make an attempt, just think about it. Okay, okay, just think and try, see how much you can do. And it is 10:15 in my watch. 10:20 I'll do it and I'll show you. Okay, but I want you to think for next 5 minutes. Okay, so this is how you would solve it. Okay, any question, guys?
Awesome.
Right, so you do repeat. Okay, one thing she missed was count the number of steps. Okay, so let's do that. So this is repeat, right? Inside repeat, I'm going to guess the value, right? And if guess, okay, and I'm going to check it here itself. If guess equal to n, you say print you guessed it right, correct? And then else, if guess is less than n, okay, so we'll say print you have guessed a low value, right? So guess is less than, so we have guessed it low, and else it is you have guessed a high value, right? Okay, so if you run this, okay, guess the number, I say 35. You have guessed a low value, I'll say 55. You have guessed a high value, I say 50. And you have guessed it right. I didn't put break, that's the reason why it's continuing. Okay, so I'm going to put break here. So when you guess it right, you need to break. Okay, and what I'll do is I will do a count here. Okay, so I'm going to say count equal to 0. The moment you guess a value, your count should increase. That means you are you are guessing a number, right? And here I'll say, instead of print, I'll say cat, you guessed it right, okay, in so many attempts, right? So in okay, so you guessed it right in count instance or times. Okay, that's it. Now when we run it, okay, so guess the number. I say 10. Okay, you guessed a low value. 18, guessed a low value. 55, guessed a high value. 50. So you guessed it right in 4 times, right? That's what we did, right? 10, 18, 55, 50. So it took 4 times to guess it right. Yes? Yeah? Any questions so far, guys? All good?
All good, sir.
Yeah.
So I think we have less than a minute. So what we'll do is let's join back again. Okay. Computer, okay, to generate a random number by itself. Okay, we'll ask it to generate random numbers by itself. Okay, so so we have something called as sample. Okay, so here I'm going to say sample. Okay, sample takes few parameters. Okay, parameters is like first, from which number to which number it should generate random numbers. Okay, so let's assume that our values cannot be we are looking to predict only, or we are looking only for 2-digit numbers. Okay. Okay, so so what I'm going to do, I'm going to say sample 1 colon 100. So it's going to predict from 1 to 100. Okay. Okay, now next number is how many numbers you want to predict. Okay, so in this case we will have only one number to predict. Okay, so this is also fine. Okay, then do you want to replace or without replace? Replace means that old numbers can repeat, right? So we don't want old numbers to get replaced, right? So I'm going to say replace equal to false. Okay, you want to see what replace is? So when you say replace, okay, should sampling be with replacement, right? We don't want to replace, right? So once number is given, we don't want it to repeat that number, right? So I'm going to say replacement equal to false. Okay, so now let's run this and see what happens. You see, it took it 64 times to guess a value. Okay, so it's running the loop, it's guessing, it's guessing, it's guessing. Okay, so it's guessing a low, 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 high, high, low, finally in 64 times. Okay, so do you see any problem here with this logic, or can we improve it? Is there a way to improve it that it doesn't take 64 times? See, it's a random number, so when I run it again, it might take less 30. Okay, run it again, it takes 29. This time it took 222 times, right? Is there a way? Can you see and tell me? Is there a way you think that if we are able to change something in the logic so that there'll definitely be some improvements in the number of times that is being guessed? Think and tell me. Do you see any scope for improvement? Okay, the hint is it's something to do with line number 27. You can do something in line number 27 so that performance improves. It will not take 64 times, 200 times to predict. Second hint is the range that we are giving, 1:100. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so second hint is that it has to do with something with that 1:100. What's wrong there? I mean, it's not wrong, right? But logically, it's something is not correct. What should we do there so that it improves the efficiency?
Instead of just doing 1 to 100, it should be like based on what previous information you got.
Exactly, you got it. Okay, so see, if I say, okay, if I guess 10, okay, now if 10, it says that 10 is lower, correct? Now, if 10 is lower, the next guess should not be less than 10. See, if 10 is lower, it has to guess 11, 15, 19, 100, okay? But it should not guess anything less than 10. So what is happening here is, if you do not handle it, every time it's checking from between 1 to 100, right? So first time you say 10 and it says lower, second time you could guess 5, right? Or 1, okay? And so that's not the effective way. Effective way is if I say 10 is low, and that's what our mind does, right? If I tell you your value is lower than mine, you'll start thinking of values higher than the value that you have given, right? So this 1 to 100 should not be fixed. It should be dependent upon the previous value. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to call in starting value as lower bound and ending as upper bound, let's say. So I'm going to say LB equal to 1 and UB equal to 100. To begin with, that's the thing, okay? So, okay, it's fine, okay? Lower bound, LB and upper bound. Because to begin with, first time, you don't know whether, what's the number. So anything you can guess. But once you guessed it, okay, so either you are here or here. You need to change the bound. So now you tell me what would come here. What line should I write here? So guess is lower. You cannot have a value lower than guess, isn't it? So that means your lower bound, okay, has to be a guess. Okay, lower bound changes to guess. It can't be smaller than guess. Similarly here, okay, you have guessed a higher value. So higher bound cannot be higher than the value that you have guessed. So we'll say upper bound equal to guess. Right, guys? So see, initially we have a number line. You are guessing from anything between 1 to 100. Okay? You are guessing from 1 to 100. Okay? Now, let's say number that you have guessed is here. And I'm predicting here. So if I'm predicting here, okay, see, this is what you are predicting initially, 1, and this is 100. This is 100, and this is 1. Okay? And if I'm predicting this number, and you're saying that this number is lower than this number, then no point guessing a number in this region. isn't it? So you can change this lower bound to this point now. Again, let's say I guess a number here, and I say this number is lower than this. That means there's no point guessing any number between this. So this lower bound which was here will now come here. Same thing with upper bound as well. If I guess a number here and this number is higher than the actual value, then second time there's no point guessing any value between these two, right? So instead of doing upper bound as 100, you bring 100 to this position. Did you get it, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very slow, yes, Keshav. Or not slow, I think lengthy, yes, right? Naushad, Sandipan?
I don't understand, sir.
Okay, we'll do it again. Okay, so see this. We did it in 14 times, 12 times, 12 times,
Yes,
12
sir.
times, 10 times, 6 times, right? 17 times, 3 times. This time we got it in 3 times, right? So we
Yes,
saw
sir.
that, the worst performance is better than the best performance that we saw there. Some 20, 30 something that was the best performance. Here, worst was 20 something, right? Or 17. 17 was the worst performance. Okay. So for a moment, you forget lower bound, upper bound. Did you understand till there, Naushad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm saying computer, earlier what I said computer, guess a number between 1 and 100. I thought of a number between 1 and 100. Guess a number between 1 and 100. So sample 1 comma 1 colon 100 will force or will give us a random number between 1 to 100. Okay, so you get some random number. It could be anything, 50, 49, 60, whatever. So if I tell you I have thought of a number, Nasha, then you guess their number. And the
Yes,
number
sir.
that which I have thought of is between 1 to 100. Okay, so yeah, guess a number. No, I have already thought of a number. You guess what number I have thought of.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Guess a
Yes,
number.
sir.
No, give
Yes,
me a
sir.
number. Give me a number.
I will give you a number.
Yeah, you guess what number I have thought of. Okay, you guess a number which I have thought of.
I guess a number for which you have thought of.
Yes. That's the game, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So guess the number. You guess the number. And I've thought of a number between 1 and 100. So guess the number which I've thought of between 1 and 100.
Okay, sir.
Tell me.
Can I tell you a number?
Yes. I have thought of. You have to guess. You have to tell. I can't tell because I have thought of. You have to guess what number I have thought of.
Sir, I cannot get you actually.
You guess a number. You tell a number. I have thought of a number between 1 and 100. You
Yes,
guess.
sir.
You tell me. You guess. Tell me what number I have thought of. Guess it.
Then
Sandipan, can you explain him?
Sure, sir. Basically, Nasser, he's speaking about like teacher have like some numbers from 1 to 100. Let's say it's 70 or 80. So you have to guess any number from 1 to 100. Let's say 10 or 12. So it's depend upon you.
Did you get it now, Asha?
yes, that means I have to say that you have
Yes.
think that you gave 50. And
Yes.
you say
So
you say
you
that
guess.
no, I am not correct, right? Like this.
Correct. So you guess only one number.
Yeah,
We're
yes,
playing the
I-
game. We are playing the game. I have thought of a number, and you tell me which number I have thought of.
Okay, then
We
I
are playing
can,
real game.
oh, sorry, sir. I think that you said me to solve the whole
No,
problem.
I'm not trying to
Then,
solve the problem. I'm asking play the game.
okay, then the number is 30.
You said 30, right? Now I'm saying that number is higher than the number your number. 30 is wrong, okay? And the number which I've thought of is more than 30.
Then, I will
Okay.
say 70.
Wait.
50.
So you say 50 or 60. Will you say
Yes, sir.
20?
No, I don't say.
You will say 29?
No,
You'll say 1?
no.
No. Why? Because I'm
Because
saying the
you
30
say the higher.
itself, yes, 30 itself is lower. So there's no point guessing 29. So the lower bound, okay, earlier I had 1:100.
Yes,
Instead
sir.
of 1:100, what I have done, I have said lower bound equal to, see, if actually I thought of 75, okay, you told
Yes, sir.
30, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
your guess is lower than 75. So we are here,
Yes.
we are in this if else block,
Yes, sir.
right? So when you
Yes,
thought
sir.
of a lower value, then this lower bound has become your guess value. So your guess was 30, automatically in your mind, you will set lower value to 30,
Yes, sir.
right? So that, you see, again, if you don't set lower value to 30, what happens? The lower value will remain 1. So computer will again think of any number. It can be 25 also, 1 also, 2 also, right?
Yes, sir.
So that
Yes, sir.
computer doesn't think
Those
one
number again.
yes, those number again. What we have done is we have increased the lower bound from 1 to 30.
Yes, sir.
So next time when you're thinking, you can think of 31, but
Yes.
you will not think of 30 or 29. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So yes, so exactly. So that's why we changed the upper bound. Now let's say you said 60. I said it's my 75, right? So it says again higher. Your number, your guess is
Lower
low.
will.
So
Yes, sir.
yes, the lower bound now moves to 60. Now you're guessing 80.
Yes. Yes,
So
sir.
when you guess 80, I said you are higher. Your value is higher. So now upper bound, you
No.
will not guess 85 or 90, isn't it?
Now it's
So you're
60 to
bringing upper
85.
bound. Yes. So you're bringing upper bound to
60.
85 or 80,
Yes, sir.
whatever.
Mm.
So that's why we are removing this. Okay. We don't want to have a fixed 1:100. We use variables, and these variables to begin with. Step 1, it is 100 only. But second step, based on the result, based on the guess, we are changing it,
Yes, sir. I get it.
right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Sure. Okay. So this is how you can use repeat. Now, assignment is same problem. I want you to do with while. Okay. Same problem, you modify to do with while. Fine.
Yeah.
Will you do it? Same. So, okay, this one, the upper bound, lower bound, same problem. Okay. So I'm going to send you the code after the session on your WhatsApp. So you'll have the code. Okay. I want you to change this problem, same problem. Okay. Not much thing you have to do. Change it to using while loop. For loop is not possible here because in for loop we need to know how many times, okay, it needs to run. And here, since we don't have it, okay, because it's flexible, right? You can guess it in 3 times. Sometimes you can take 200 times also to guess, right? So we have, implementing using for loop would be difficult. So we'll do separate problems for loop. So today, our intention is to learn as much logic using loop and if. Okay. Tomorrow when we meet, we'll talk about functions. Okay. So far, so good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now what we'll do is we'll see some examples using for loop. Okay. So okay, using for loop. Okay. So in for loop, we know how many times we need to print. Okay. So I'm going to use some patterns. Okay, there's some chat message. Let me see. Okay, so Sandeep will say yes. Okay, so let's say I want to print a single star like this. What happened? I want to print a star like this. So how will I do it? I will say print, okay, star. Fine. So when you, okay, so let's do this. The star is printed, right? Now let's say I want to print 5 stars. Okay, like one by one. Okay, I want to print 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, like this. So how will I do it? Of course, one option is you did do this 5 times. Okay, but is this efficient? No. I mean, if you want to do it 100 times, will you print 100 print? No. We have learned something called as loop. Using loop, I want you to print this 5 times. So see, here we know how many times to be printed. So we can definitely use for loop. Okay, so tell me, how will I do this? How will I print 5 stars using for loop? Yeah. How do we use for loop, guys? We'll have something called as for, right? Value in value in 1:5, right? And okay, okay, so it's printing here, right? Okay, that's not the problem. Okay, so what I'll do here, I'll simply say print, because we have cat here, right? So cat is actually doing it. So I'm going to give slash and slash, and let's create some space between. Oops. Right. Even print should also do. Okay. Right. So you got 5 star, correct? So I said value 1 to 5, you get 5 stars. Yes. Yes or no, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
so if you need to print 5 stars in 5 straight line, you put print star and you put that in a for loop. So for loop, I'm saying val in 1:5. So val will take first 1 and execute your content inside for loop. Then second time val will take value 2 and run the content inside. When will the value will take val will take value 3 and run the content, which is print. Okay. Val will take 4 and run the print. Val will take 5 and run the print. I heard only from 2. Naushad and Keshav. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you say print star and you put that in a for loop, and this is how we write for loop, right? For counter, I, J, val, whatever. Okay. In 1 to 5. So val will take value 1 and run the loop. So we are not using value val. So okay, val will take value 1 to 5, but we don't need to do it. We just need to print it 5 times, and we are able to do this 5 times. Now the question is, I don't want 5 stars in 5 different lines. I want the stars to be in same lines. What will I do? How do I do it?
We can use like cat.
Exactly. We have to use cat. We saw that cat That's why we have to give print here, because cat will not break the line, right? So if you give cat and when you run it, okay, see, you got star in same line. Yeah. Okay. Now I want, okay, so I got 5 stars in same line. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I want a square of stars. That means I want 5 stars to print in 5 lines. So what we got so far is 1 line of 5 stars. I want 5 different lines of 5 stars. What do we do? What do we do? See, earlier we wanted 5 stars, so we printed star and we made it run 5 times using loop. Now this whole thing is doing 5 stars for us, isn't it? Now I want to run this whole thing 5 times. So what I'll do, I will say put for, it's called nested for, just like we had nested if, you have nested for. See, these lines are executing 5 times or giving us 5 stars. I need these 5 stars to be repeated 5 times. So this logic has to be put in a for loop. So I'm going to say, O for outer, let's say O in 1:5. Okay. And here, okay. And this bracket will not be here because I want this for to be inside. So I'm going to put this bracket here. Now you see it. What happened? What do you notice here? We got 25 stars, but all 25 stars is the same line. So how do we fix it? We want 5 star in one line, 5 star in again next line, then next, then next. Where did it happen? And how do we fix it? The hint is that we have done this, we have solved this problem before when here, when we printed star was printing along with the statement, along the print statement. So since we are using cat, okay, stars are printed in same line, right? And when next loop runs, okay, this still printed in next line. Okay. So first of all, before we get into this problem, how does nested loop works? Okay. So see, the program will first execute line number 44, then 45. Agreed? The program will run first line number
Yes.
44, then 45. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first 44 line is called. Now 44 says O, run it 5 times. So O will take value 1 and it will run this entire thing 1 time. So when O is running this entire thing 1 time, there's a val here which is running 5 times. So while value of O is 1, the value of val will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When value finishes its work, okay, and then you reach this end of bracket, it goes up. Now O becomes 2. When O becomes 2 and comes inside, again value is here. So value will again run 1 to 5. So when outer loop is running 1, inner loop will finish running its entire thing. And when it is finished, it will go up for second iteration of the outer loop. So when second iteration starts, when O becomes 2, it comes inside, there's another for loop. So this for loop will again run 5 times. Yes. So outer loop will run 1 time, inner loop will run 5 times. Again, outer loop will run 1 time, inner loop will run again 5 times. So inner loop is running 5, 5, 5, 5, and 25 times. And it is printing star 25 times. But I need to put a line break after 5 times. Okay. So what I'll do, I will have the outer loop and the inner loop. Inner loop will run. Once inner loop is finished running, before it goes to outer loop, I will say print. Okay. See, it has printed 5 stars here. Star, star, 5 stars. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to modify this stars. I don't want to print all 5. I want to print in line 1, 1 star, in line 2, 2 stars, line 3, 3 stars, line 4, 4 stars, line 5, 5 stars. What change should I do to this program?
Wait, could you repeat that?
Okay. So what we have done here is in each line we are printing 5 stars, isn't it? 5, sorry,
Yeah.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Now I want to print only 1 star in line number 1, 2 stars in line number 2, 3 stars in line number 3, 4 stars in line number 4, and 5 stars in line number 5. So it's going, it will be something like this. Okay. Right angle triangle types. Okay. So you have 1 star, then 1 star, 2 star, then here third row 3 stars, fourth row 4 stars, fifth row 5 stars, like this. Okay. So you will have this like right angle triangle. Got it now?
Yeah.
So how do we modify it? So see, I want 5 rows. Okay. So the outer loop will give us 5 rows. I want 5 rows, right? So this for loop will not change. This will remain as it is. Inner for loop should change. When O is 1, it should be 1 colon 1. When row is 2, it should become 1 colon 2. When row, O is 3, it should become 1 colon 3, right? For that purpose, what we have to do is we have to change this to a variable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say LB equal to 1, UB equal to 5, right? And here I'm going to say O in 1 colon 5, that's okay. But here, instead of doing 1 colon 5, what I'll do, I'll say 1 colon O. So LB and UB, I'm not using it so far. Okay, I'll use it later, maybe, or maybe you can use it now itself. So here I can say UB, LB, right? But that is not the main thing. Main thing is here 1 colon. Okay, I want it to be dynamic. I don't want to have a fixed value of 5. Okay, if you put fixed value of 5, you get 5 stars. But I don't want 5 stars. I want first row 1 star, second row 2, third 3, 4, and 5, so on. So I need to change the lower bound is fine 1. upper bound needs to be changed, and upper bound needs to be increment every time. So here we have O. O is doing the job. O is slowly getting changed from 1, then 2, second iteration, 2, third iteration. So why not use 2O directly here? So now when you run it, oops, something is wrong. What's wrong? Yeah, I don't know, something went wrong there. But now you see, okay, probably upper bound had some older value, 60 or something. Now you see 1 star, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. Yes,
Yeah.
did you understand the logic?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted 1 star. Somehow the inner loop, outer loop is fine. 5 rows, 5 star. Outer loop O is fine. Inner loop, I need to somehow the end value should be dynamic. Starting is 1 is fine. The ending value should be dynamic. Ending value should be dynamic. It should, I can't put it as fixed value of 5. It should change. Okay, you can write a program, you can write another variable, and you can make sure that it's getting incremented. You can do it, but that will be complex. Instead, you can use O. O is also changing dynamically, right? Okay, so this is how for loop works. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll stop here for today. I'm going to give you few assignments. Okay, see, I'll tell you, all the logic is only up to this. Okay, if and for loop is very important. Okay, especially if you're doing programming for the first time. Okay, these two concepts are very important. Okay, all the logic, most of the logic, okay, not all, but most of the logic can be achieved using these concepts. From now on, the concept that we're going to talk about is going to make your life easy. That's all. It's not going to teach you to do something new. Everything that you can think of, any logic, any programming logic that you can think of, we can achieve using these two concepts. We're going to talk about functions, strings. We have to get into details of vectors, data frames. All those will make your life easy. Okay, those are advanced topics, okay, designed to do some specific things. But when you when you say to the world that you know basic of R, this is the thing. This is the basic of R till here. So congratulations, we have crossed our first milestone. A lot of milestones to cover, but our first milestone is covered today. So you can give a clap to yourself, okay, and practice. I'll give you more and more problems to practice here because this is important. I might share some programs which might have word Python there. Ignore those Python and assume that's R, okay, because I have some assignments, those might have Python because I originally designed for Python, but then ignore the language. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, as far as I remember, it should not have any Python word. But in case it is there, don't get confused. Ignore that and do it in R.